Greetings everyone, welcome to Just Advanced, and this game is just one of the best games you'll ever see, and one of the best games of Daniil Dubov ever. And I mean, he just absolutely played like Tal, and you're really going to enjoy this game. So with the white pieces, we have Daniil Dubov, one of the really amazing prodigies, youngster who at one time was really surprised the world of chess, crushed everyone. And with the black pieces, we have Vishy Anand, former world champion, 5 times world champion, amazing player, an absolute legend. And so, without further ado, let's start with this game because this is going to be one epic one. Here, just c4 by Daniel, we have e5 by Vishy, knight to c3, and just bishop to b4. We go for the English opening, reverse Sicilian. It's like a Kramnik variation or Kramnik counter attack or something. Here, just knight to d5, now attacking that bishop, but now just a5, and we have knight to f3, d6 now, just defending that pawn, and we have g3, just going for this fiend get of the bishop and just castles. And here c6, pushing the bishop one knight back, but knight goes to e3. Really looks like a weird setup, but it's perfectly fine. Knight to f6 now, bishop to g2, castles, and just rook to e8, just very nicely eyeing that. Somewhere along the line you're going to push that, and black and white both are going to have a great game. Here, just d4 immediately, so that black doesn't go for d5 himself. So here, just e captures, knight captures, and now just knight to a6. We have knight c to e2 now, attacking the bishop, but now just going for this bishop back to c5. You don't want to give up the bishop here early on. In this position, the bishop is very strong, and yes, although in the second move itself you tried to give away the bishop, but back then it worked. Now it not so much. So here, yeah, that's how chess works. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but in this position it wasn't favorable to give the bishop early on. So here, just b3 now, just trying to fiend get to the other bishop as well and put it on this very beautiful diagonal where black king has castled, and you can maybe start an attack. But now comes knight to b4, and now just not going for a move like a3 to kick the knight back, because then you allow trades, and you're not gonna like trades here. So just bishop to b2, just developing. If you want to capture, be my guest, I'll just capture. My bishop here will get an open diagonal. I'll be very happy. So bishop to g4 now, bishop to g4. I don't know, maybe I don't know why the engine doesn't like this move. I mean, when I first saw this game, bishop to g4 seemed like a very normal move. You're also threatening this, and maybe bishop to e7 would have been a little bit better. Bishop to d7 would have been a little bit better in this position, simply because of the fact that maybe you just don't want to put the bishop here, because after a move like after you defend this, and maybe just you're gonna have to put the bishop back to a bad square. But also there is one more reason why the bishop is not that good in this position, and that's because the move that Daniel went for in this position, knight to e3. And the idea behind is that you stop the rook's attack towards the e2 pawn. Also at the same time, you're just attacking that bishop, so now you're gonna have to move the bishop back, and that comes with the tempo. So you develop the knight for free, you stop the threat, and you also attack. So that is a good move. So that's why maybe the engine doesn't like bishop to g4 that very much, but it's a normal developing move. I don't think it was that bad. But here now, bishop to h5, and maybe in this position if you went back, I think that would be absolutely fine. But bishop to h5 is an issue, and you're going to understand what I mean by this, because here, just a3 now, just pushing the knight back, knight goes back, and now comes knight d to f5. And there are issues with this position. There are a lot of issues in this position, because in this position, when I was seeing this position, there was just one thing that was coming through my head, that you can never go bishop to g6. I did not like bishop to g6, although engine likes it, simply because of the fact that now the idea that was actually in Daniel's head comes true. And when I was actually watching the game, I was just analyzing, and yeah, that idea is just so beautiful. I don't want to spoil it for you. I want to show it to you. And the idea is that if you go bishop to g6, which was played in the game, so Vishy played it, but now comes a beautiful Tal move in this position. So I'm going to ask you to pause the video and try and find out the idea yourself, and I'll show it to you later if you're not able to find it. So have at it. So congratulations to everyone who's able to find this move, and the move is the beautiful knight captures on g7. That's right, sacrificing an entire knight with just one pawn compensation, but it's just a lot more than one pawn. The idea behind this is that you can capture, but I don't know if this would be better or not, but I guess capturing is the only thing, because when someone throws a knight at you like this, it's just very first of all disrespectful. But then all you can do is just capture it, and really Daniel just summoned Tal here in this position, because king captures on g7, and now comes knight to g4. Now there's a lot of pressure here against that knight, and there is not much you can do about that either. Here in this position, rook to e6 was played, but rook to e6 engine does not like for some reason. But yeah, you're just giving up the you're just sacrificing the exchange here basically, and you could trade everything after rook captures, bishop captures, and I think white will be doing absolutely fine here. But the move that was coming to my head a few moves ago, knight d2 f5 in this position, was a move like d5. I mean, seems like a normal move. You want to play d4 and you want to close off this diagonal, or maybe just trade the dark square bishop for some material. But the issue is the same idea still works, but in a much bad session, because here just c captures, and knight captures on g7 now. That's why I decided to show you this line later, because it would have just spoiled the entire thing. So king captures now, but after knight caps on d5, it just reiterates the same idea. And here after bishop to e7 now, trying to defend everything, and also now the king can move, but queen to d4, and now there's just so much pressure here. Knight to c5, again just trying to go knight to d7, so maybe you're able to stop everything, but now comes rook a to d1. Now there's so much pressure. If queen moves anywhere, then there's going to be pressure against the queen, but knight to d7 now, but queen to f4, and this is just so beautiful. Now hey, this king to g8, you have to move the king around. There's some way you cannot let it remain pinned for the entire game. So knight caps on f6, bishop captures, rook captures. Now a beautiful rook sacrifice, an exchange sacrifice, because if you capture it, you're just dead lost. I think the move here is something like this, but even then it's just completely lost. But here just queen caps on d7, and now comes queen caps on f6, and you're getting mated in 12 moves. And if you, let's say, you go for a worse move here like king to f8, is going to be mated in 7 moves, because here after queen to h6 check, king to e7, bishop to f6 check, and after king to d6 you play bishop to d8 check, and after king to c5 a beautiful queen to b6 checkmate. There is just no square where the king can run off to. Pawns are covering this, bishop is covering this, bishop is defending the queen, and queen is delivering the checkmate, that too on b6, and king is on c5. It's beautiful position. But yeah, that's what would have happened if you go and try to sacrifice some material to be able to survive this. But I think bishop to g6 was fine, because I didn't see that much change in the engine evaluation. But hey, again, you have to play it very precisely, because here after king captures, knight to g4 was played, and after rook to e6, the position is still not that bad, but still you have to play it very precisely. Here b4 was played, but here I think you're not supposed to capture this with the a pawn. A captures was played by Sir Vishy, and A captures. Now comes knight captures, but after rook captures, queen captures. The issue is you just deflected the queen from where it was defending all of the things. And now if you trade everything, then I guess the king moves forward, and there are some ideas in this position. But again, you don't have to do it directly. You can still push the pawns, create more threats, and I think you would be absolutely crushing here. Queen to d2 was played in this position. The idea is to go obviously there and try to put more pressure there. But now just in this position, even if you go for queen to d8 back, the problem is knight captures on f6, and after rook captures you just play g4, and now g5 is coming. What do you do in this position? Let's say you play h6, but now just comes h4, again just reinstating the same threat. But after d5, now d5 can be played in this position, but here after c captures, king to h7, now just moving away. Now there is bishop caps on f6. Bishop captures on f6 is unfortunately very unfortunately is a draw, because here after queen caps on f6, now you have sufficient compensation. You have 2 pieces for the rook, and that too there are 2 bishops for the rook, and knight against the bishop, and some pawns. I think it's absolutely fine. D captures, you play b captures, and even if you still carry on, because you're in the mindset of sacrificing and attacking, so if you still push it too much, let's say you play g5, but after h captures, you have to understand that after queen to f5 you have some dark square issues, because you don't have a dark square bishop. And once you play a move like queen to e5 and get the bishop to d6, you have to understand that there could be some checkmating ideas. So you have to be very careful here. But after queen to d2, here king to f8 was played, because you don't like the idea of remaining in that pin for too long, so you're just giving back the piece that was sacrificed. But now the position is much worse. Knight captures on f6, queen to d8 now, but now just comes this queen to h6 check. And this is the problem with this move, because queen comes inside your position, and that comes with the check. But here maybe so we should thought that king to e7, and maybe just somewhere you are just going away and you can just run off to the other side of the board, but that's not happening. Because I was just thinking in this position, why can't you go bishop to h3? In this position, bishop to f3 was played by Daniil, but here bishop to h3 I think works just fine. There is no issue with this move, because you don't even have rook captures sacrificing the exchange, because here if you try to go for that, you're just getting mated. Bishop captures, and now not mated, but here just, I mean, you just go queen to h4 and you're just losing a complete queen. So you're going to be mated in a few more moves. But the issue is that the issues are much worse if you go for rook caps on e2 now, trying to just attack that bishop and maybe just survive this attack. Queen to g5, and now you're not in time to capture that bishop. If you capture that bishop now, you're just getting checkmated here. Knight to captures on h7. Knight caps on h7 is the only move because it covers this square. There is a check. Bishop is covering this t2 square, and there is only one move. You cannot even come forward. So now the position is that if you go king to e8, it's just really bad. Rook to e1 check, and you have to just start giving away pieces. Rook to e2, capturing it. Bishop to e3, capturing the bishop. Another bishop blocks, capturing it. And now finally, once you try to do it with the queen, just queen captures, and this would be checkmate. That's absolutely insane. Sacrificing 4 pieces to avoid checkmate, but still getting checkmated either way. So in this position, bishop to h3 is just much faster, but here now let's decide to go for this bishop to f3. But now just comes this knight to c2, and knight to c2 is just maybe trying to do something in this position, trying to get the queen away. But now just comes queen to h4, and now there is just no way you could do anything. Now just going for this queen to a5, trying to make some breathing room for the king. But after knight caps on h7, king to e8, knight to f6 check, king moves, and again this bishop to g4, now attacking the rook, even sacrificing the exchange to try and survive the attack. King to c7 was played, but after bishop caps on e6, pawn captures. Here in this position on just move 31, queen to h6 was played, just trying to attack the bishop and also infiltrating inside the position. It was on this move, on just move 31, that Sir Vishy Anand resigned the game, and Daniil Dubov played absolutely like Mikhail Tal. It was like he summoned Mikhail Tal and just completely played like him, and absolutely played this crushing game with beautiful sacrifices. It was really a joy to analyze this game. There's so many lines, so much analysis, and I absolutely loved it. I hope you enjoyed it too. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll be coming back with games like these, so stay tuned to the channel, stay updated to the channel, and I'll be seeing you guys very soon. Thank you all for watching.